we are looking at a build that someone in chat posted. They wanted some feedback. Currently, there's no good way of exporting your character from your online save onto this build planner. So if people are willing to go through the hassle of actually importing the character piece by piece, I'm willing to look at it. So this looks to be the lightning bug. I think the lightning proc up here. We posted some YouTube videos about this. They have a Call Navarre's, hopefully with attack speed. Looks awesome. We're going to dig through this character. We're going to try to find if there's anything offensively or maybe defensively that might be going wrong with this character. At a quick glance, the gear looks very good. So we'll see if we can find something useful to say as we peek at this character here. Looking at the blessings across the bottom, we have crit multi, lightning shred, all res, armor, and armor. I love it. Those seem great to me. Let's take a look at the gear real quick. So I was advocating for like a nice tanky version of this build where you have vitality prefixes and then like vitality, and crit multi while transformed, crit multi while transformed. So that's what I was into. I see that we have crit multi while transformed here, a bunch of vitality. We have attunement. Attunement's not wasted because remember attunement also scales into the druid passive of getting the crit avoidance per attunement. So I'm into it. I think Call Navarre's, as long as you have melee attack speed on it, is sweet. So we have attack speed and shot. Looks great to me. And then for offhand, we have spell damage, crit multi, armor shred on hits. Yeah, seems great. Like if you didn't get crit multi on this, you could go for attack speed instead, but I'm into it. I think it's a good choice. Crit multi, crit chance, frailty, stuff, attack speed, crit, hybrid. The boots are insane. They have tons of life on them. And then what's this? Spell crit, minion health. Just a tiny bit of minion health helps to keep your Spriggan Pet alive, so I like that as well. And then we have like some movement speed rings, spell damage, crit chance, poison stuff. I don't see endurance anywhere, but I assume that we have endurance in some of our mastery here. So maybe our endurance is low. Is that a reasonable piece of feedback? Yeah, that's probably a reasonable piece of feedback. We can get like a little bit more endurance in the character. Do we have any frailty? We have frailty here. We have armor shred there. All right, that looks fine. What are the idols that we have? Spell damage, neat. Spell damage, spell damage. Link's duration doesn't do anything for us. Spell damage. Okay, so all of our idols have one affix on them. They could be like double affix. They could like, prefix suffix. You could also go for aspect of the boar effect, which is an insane way of scaling defense. Frankly, you don't need it. I promise you don't need more defense. But if you wanted to, remember, increased effective aspect of the boar is a very good affix to look for. What's in the belts? We have cleanse, hybrid life, percent life, thick. This is a thick character right here. Take a look at passives. We have 1-2 points just to keep the Spriggan Pet a little bit extra safe. Bunch of HP, 5 points for Tornado. In Beastmaster, we have the full Beastmaster tax for all of our defenses there. And then we have 8 points for Rage on Crit, some stuff here, utility, penetration, stuff, and these excellent points at the top. I'm skeptical if we're going to find something to give good feedback on, but we're going to keep looking. Hold on. Serpent Strike looks good. We have all the Rage on Crit here. We're proccing Maelstrom. We have all of our stun chance here, which I'm a big fan of. I think it's great. We could have more duration in our Maelstrom, but I think that looks fine. We have all the relevant nodes here and all the relevant nodes here. You don't need to take Storm Orb. I put Storm Orb in my build because I was using the Enigma offhand, and having additional hits meant that I could get additional spark charges. If you're not going for spark charge, you probably just trim this one node right here and maybe just get extra attack speed over there. I think that'd probably be a better choice overall. If you don't want the attack speed, there's a 5% more damage multiplier here. So it's either 7% attack speed or 5% more damage. Cool. I don't see many complaints about this build. I think it's just a good build. Probably the modifiers. So the last time that we looked at a build planner, I ended up not posting it on, what's this? The base type sucks. The base type's fine. It's got Fizz Res, but yeah, I mean, the base type could be like, more health. It could be realistically like one of these top 3 is what you're looking for the base type. Like the movement speed, if you want to go zoomy. Spell damage is great because you really want a bunch of spell damage with the build, and then the cooldown recovery speed with the health. It's like one of those 3 things is what I look for. Fizz isn't really doing much for you, but you know, whatever. Going back to the modifier discussion, we actually did another build planner overview and we were helping someone talk about their builds. And like build planner, if you're copying a build off YouTube, off one of my guides, like someone else's guide, assuming that it's a good guide, you could just copy what it's got and your build's probably good. So there might be an issue with how you're playing the build or like what kind of modifiers you're selecting. And again, the last time that we gave someone feedback, that was the feedback. So we asked the person like, hey, like you got to corruption, you got to, 150 or so, you're doing empowered. Why does your build feel bad if everything on paper looks right? So we asked that person to take a screenshot of the modifiers that they have in their echoes. And their modifiers were like, enemies deal damage, 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 damage. And it's like, if you put that much damage on a monster, they're going to hit you for a fuck ton of damage. So I suspect that might be what's going on here as well. Navigating your monoliths and picking the right modifiers it's an art. You gotta be mindful of it. Picking, just a little bit of defense, a little bit of offense, having those modifiers fall off after a duration, right? So that was the problem last time. I suspect that's the problem this time. As a quick note, I've been telling people that a good benchmark for a build to be like, this build is good. Like you're not embarrassed by this build. It does well. A good benchmark is, are you able to comfortably farm like 200 or hopefully 250 corruption? And when I say comfortably, what I mean is you're not running for your life. You're like avoiding a bunch of modifiers. So I'm going to alt tab back into game here and I'm going to show you real quick what I'm talking about. I actually just put my camera in the wrong place. All right, let me hide the camera real quick. So here's what I got in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. I have for the next two echoes, enemies have 45 health and damage. So this is not like the best modifier. It has nice rarity attached to it, by the way, but it's got defense and offense, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to do the boss pretty soon. And let's pretend like when I do the boss next, I want to be extra safe. Like pretend I'm at 500 corruption or something, for example. I want to be very safe, pretend I'm playing hardcore. I'm probably not going to do this one because this is 45 health and damage and lasts for the next 3 echoes as well. I might do like a nice balance of offense and defense, or maybe if I just want to be extra safe, maybe I just go like 2 defensive echoes. I kill the boss when they have a bunch of defenses on them, and then I swap back to like having a nice balance between offense and defense. So when I say comfortably farming 200 or 250 corruption, what I mean is Alk and go. If you're familiar with, Path of Exile terminology, you just kind of click on these things. There's nothing that's too scary and nothing's going to get in the way of you farming for the exalted modifiers that you really want. So I think that is about the feedback that we have to give. I'll tab back to this character real quick. And yeah, if anyone else out there does have feedback for this character, I don't think there's too much to say. I really enjoyed this character. I have no problem recommending this as like a hardcore character, or even pushing to like 800 corruption. We have people in the community who are currently playing this exact build, and I don't have a desire to go to 800 corruption, but apparently they're all at 800 corruption. So great. I'm glad that's good for them. If you got any recommendations for this build, or if you want feedback on your own builds, you can always drop by twitch.tv/parrotthepig. Ask questions there. Discord's a great place as well. I will leave those links in the description of the video. We'll see you next time.